up, babe. New Turnip Boy game just dropped. That's right, Snoozy Kazoo just released the follow-up to 2021's adorably deviant Turnip Boy Commits Tax Evasion, and the crimes have become significantly more heinous. We're not just evading taxes any longer. This time, we're trying to get that bag. Honestly, it's a crime if you haven't checked out patreon.com/idreamofindiegames. I mean, I won't hold it against you, but you might be ready to turn yourself in when you realize all of the awesome perks you've been missing out on. Discord access, early and ad-free content, an exclusive podcast, and even free games at some tiers. I know. Arresting. And you won't even have to commit a felony to join our crew. Your community is already waiting for you. Getting back to our favorite tax-evading vegetable, Turnip Boy Robs a Bank opens up with crime boss Dilatini from the Pickled Gang calling our anti-hero with an offer he can't refuse. Take advantage of the chaos that you most definitely created in the last installment by teaming up to rob a bank. It's a really silly and simple setup for what ends up being an appropriately silly and simple game. Unlike the former title, Turnip Boy Robs a Bank is a timed, run-based, single-player adventure with roguelite elements. Don't let those buzzwords frighten you, my sweet summer children. This game is easy to jump into and even easier to find yourself addicted to. Each run begins with Turnip Boy choosing a loadout at home base from an ever-increasing array of weaponry. From there, it's off to the Botanical Bank to shake down innocent civilians, destroy furniture, take out all sorts of security guards, and, most importantly, steal cash and precious valuables. While you're frantically searching for money and attempting to journey deeper into this massive bank, you'll encounter lots of wacky NPCs, some of which you'll recognize from the prior game, and others that are brand new to this title. Most of these characters will have a quest for you to complete, like collecting pet rocks, destroying a certain number of enemies, or separating their fused bodies from one another by obtaining a vegetable separator on the dark web. You know, the usual. Once the built-in timer runs out, you'll be swarmed by the fuzz, the heat, the pigs. No, literally, law-enforcing peaches, peppers, and bacon will ambush you from all angles until you return to the escape vehicle or purchase a ticket out of there. Back at the safety of your home base, you can purchase upgrades with your spoils, such as extending the timer, upgrading bullets, or adding hearts to Turnip Boy's health meter. In fact, there are lots of helpful enhancements you'll be able to purchase to upgrade the Leafy Lawbreaker. Once you're done shopping, you can also turn in weapons you've discovered on your latest escapade for research. The more wacky weapons you research, the more weapons you'll unlock for loadout. Then there's photos to take for Annie and desirable items up for auction on Greg's list. So much to do and so little time. Just kidding, you can take as long as you want here. That timer only applies to the actual bank robbery. That would just be ridiculous. Once again, there are collectible and equipable hats for Turnip Boy, each of which is more absurd than the last. From a tiny turnip to a rabid dog, almost anything can be a hat in the Turnip Boy universe, and collecting them all is a fun reason to go back in for one more run. Apart from completing the tasks, which you can track from your smartphone pause screen, your motivation is to reach deeper and deeper locations within this highly elaborate financial establishment, and perhaps learn a thing or two about the TBCU, that's the Turnip Boy Cinematic Universe, of course. I don't want to say I'm disappointed that Turnip Boy Robs a Bank takes a different gameplay approach than its predecessor, because I very clearly enjoyed my time with this title, but I did miss a little bit of the lower stakes exploration elements from the original title. Sure, there are still fun tasks to take on, hilarious NPC interactions, and over-the-top bosses to beat down, but having to navigate your way through the same path each time with a deadline did take away a little bit of the joy of exploration for me. Trust me, it's not a deal breaker, it's just different. Change is one of the few guarantees in life after all, other than death and taxes, but Turnip Boy already figured out how to avoid at least one of those, so my feelings on run-based gameplay aside, this is a fun game that gets its hooks in you pretty quickly. This is no doubt partially because everything is adorable. The graphics, too cute to handle. The puns, unstoppable. The writing in these titles is what really makes Turnip Boy stand out in my mind, and I love how the writers always commit 1000% to their craft. Then there's the soundtrack. I can't even adequately put into words how fun the soundtrack in this game is. It's feet-tapping, head-bobbing goodness to accompany the absolute absurdity on your screen. You can actually purchase new tracks by trading in souls you've earned throughout your gameplay in one particular location in the bank, and each song is better than the last one. There are all sorts of tracks, from fast and frantic electronica to more lo-fi chill songs to rob a bank to. The one thing they all share is that they're all great. The best compliment I can give these songs is that I was still humming them after I finished playing, which means they stuck in the old brain synapses. They're that good. As a fellow masshole by birth, Snoozy Kazoo makes me proud to be from Western Massachusetts, and I do look forward to seeing what other misadventures their reprehensible root vegetable will take part in. I am awarding Turnip Boy the Silver Genie Lamp of Approval. Despite being a root vegetable, Turnip Boy does not break new ground, but it does fertilize a very fun and functional adventure that should appeal to fans of the original title, and those that are just looking for a great game that's easy to jump into in small doses or marathons.
Nice.